Hey everybody, welcome back into the NASCAR Illustrated studio. I'm Stephen Levine, sitting here with Sporting News' Tom Vandevort, and we are back to racing. We've had a weekend off. We're going to the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. I have to admit, I'm not one of these guys who gets all psyched to go to Indy. To me,
you know why?
It's an open wheel venue.
Have you gone there?
Not a stock car venue.
Have you gone there in person?
No.
Oh, see, I think that's maybe the issue.
But you go there in person, you can't see anything because of the pagoda.
You're in the media. You watch the whole race from the infield media center on television.
Right, but I'm just...
So, come on.
It doesn't do it for me.
You got to walk around. I think it's cool.
You know why it doesn't do it for me? Because the racing usually isn't that good.
There are some issues as far as the action goes. This is very much an aero push track. You got long, long straightaways, very flat corners, and so you need that aerodynamic grip to get through there. And so when you get up behind a guy, it's very hard to pass, even if on neutral terms you're a little bit faster. So it's an aero push track. It's tough that way, but come on, it's a unique track, a big square. We don't have another racetrack like this. It is Indianapolis. To win here is something special. And the other thing is, you got to remember, this track shows off a team that's really on its game. And that's why the winner of this race has, in many cases, gone on to win the championship. Because to win here, you gotta have everything right. And so I think a team that's functioning on all cylinders is the kind of a team that could come out and win this thing.
I will give you that, because if you look at the winners at this track, Jeff Gordon, 4 wins. Jimmy Johnson, 4 wins. Tony Stewart, 2 wins. Kevin Harvick has won here. So yes, you're right.
And they win a lot of times in the same season that they win the championship.
Well, when you're Jeff Gordon, Tony Stewart, and Jimmy Johnson,
It goes to show you, though. But I think it's the team. It's not just the driver. It's the whole team figuring out what they need on the racetrack and making the right calls during the race to get the track position, which you do need out here. Jimmy Johnson has overcome adversity to win at this racetrack. So there's a lot going on here, even though there's not a lot of passing for the lead under green.
And we're going to talk more about the drivers in just a minute, but we're going to take a break, come back with Miss Sprint Cup. All right, as promised, we're back with Miss Sprint Cup, Jacqueline Roney. We changed the image on the monitor in your honor.
I noticed that.
In your honor. That was obviously Anne-Marie Rhodes, the very first Miss Sprint Cup, and that was one of her very first races, and Tony was sort of initiating her.
I can tell.
Yeah.
He also won the race.
Yeah. Well, that's a victory lane shot.
Yes, it is.
So and now they just kiss the bricks.
No, he did that too.
Yeah.
He was just getting a little extra.
Yeah, so just be prepared.
Have your elbow ready.
I'm ready.
If Tony wins. So we are going to the Brickyard, but before we talk about drivers, let's review the standings. We haven't been together since New Hampshire. I picked Clint Boyer, who came in ahead of everybody else. You had Dale Jr., came in 1 behind Boyer.
On, Junior.
Brooke picked Kurt Busch, who led 102 laps
Yeah.
and had the dominant car.
That's the thing about NASCAR. See, it's where you finish. That's the thing about it.
Not where you start.
Anyway, the standings are now, I'm in the lead with 34, Tom has 33, and Miss Sprint Cup is still within striking distance with 29 points.
I like your optimism.
So
all you need to do is pick an actual winner of the race.
Pressure's
That'll get you
on.
right back.
I like my pick this week.
All right, lay it on us.
Well, I hope you guys are picking Chevy. They have the most wins of any manufacturer with 14, including the last 10. And my guy has won 4 out of the last 7 Brickyard 400s. Jimmy Johnson. That's my pick this weekend.
You know, when you're in a hole, it's always good to pick Jimmy. And frankly, I think there should be like a 5th category of just somebody who picks Jimmy every week, and let's just see how that compares.
That's a great pick,
Jimmy against the field.
Right.
Yeah.
Jimmy will come out.
Very true.
Yeah, a lot
excellent
of times.
pick. There's no way to argue with Jimmy, especially not at this track. Who's your pick?
I like Tony. I like Tony to do a little more kissing.
2 wins. Tony Stewart has 2 wins here.
It's a special place for him, and hasn't been a great year really so far. Okay, not.
He's in the wild card spot right now.
Yeah. You just expect a little more from Smoke, but I think this is the kind of race that can get him back on track. I mean, last time he won the championship, he was having a not very good year.
Sure.
We went to Bristol, and it was horrible before the chase, and it was just like, oh, this guy's done, and he goes on and wins the championship.
Well, he was having such a bad year, he fired his crew chief.
Yeah.
And went on to win the championship.
With the same crew chief. So, yeah, you can't count him out. I like Tony at this track.
Excellent pick. Obviously, Jeff Gordon 4 wins here. Kevin Harvick has won here. A lot of guys are good here, but I'm going to go out a little bit on a limb.
Uh-oh.
And I'm going to
pick a Dodge.
I'm going to pick a guy who almost won here in 2009, almost won here in 2010, almost won a couple of times this season at Dover and Richmond, and is very good at this track.
Oh my God, he's like you and me. He's almost successful.
He has won an Indy 500. Juan Pablo Montoya.
I like that pick.
I'm going to pick Juan Pablo Montoya. This is a great track for him. He's had some strong runs this season.
It is a really good track for him.
He tested it.
He has one here after all.
And he got to test at this track a little earlier this season.
Yeah. And his team, they've been really consistent this year. Almost had that win at Dover. I want to see him win.
Look, is it a kind of an out there pick? Sure, but I just don't see Jeff getting into victory lane.
I was tempted to pick Jeff.
Were you?
Yeah, just kind of like the last hurrah type of.
Because you want him to win.
I think that's true. We used to have a saying around here. There's like head picks and heart picks.
Exactly.
You pick with your head, you just pick Jimmy.
Yeah.
You pick with your heart, you start like, oh, it'd be really great if Jeff were to, that kind of thing.
I'm picking somewhere in the middle, like my trachea.
Your esophagus.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. So just to review, Jimmy Johnson for Jacqueline. Who did you pick?
Tony Stewart.
I forgot. Tony Stewart.
Try
for
paying
Tom.
attention next time.
And I'm going with Juan Pablo. Check back next week to see how we did.